Hello and welcome. My name's Dr. Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic, and this is the weekly forecast for week commencing October 14th, 2024. Each week, I like to bring the wisdom of the tarot, my deck, the Mythic Tarot, and messages from Spirit to bring through guidance and understanding of the week ahead. Each month I'm using a different spread, and this month I'm using the Celtic Cross, which you can see an explainer of on my YouTube channel if you wish to test it out for yourself. So let's begin. So we'll start with 10 cards for the Celtic Cross. Okay, so I've chosen 10 cards, and so there'll be no double ups this time like we used to have, and I'll explain each position as we go. So this is for the week commencing October 14th, 2024. Let's look at the week ahead for us from beginning to end. So the first card we're starting off is the self or us. This is the Seven of Wands, explains who we are, what we are feeling this week, and this is just to confirm some feelings. So the feeling I'm getting from this card is that we feel like we're up against a wall and having to prove ourselves over and over again. The overall sense that I'm getting from that card is that that's not actually the case, but that's our reality this week. So this is sort of a feeling that we're having to either prove ourselves or that we don't really feel like we are up to speed or can do it. So the next card we're looking at is the blocking card, and this is the thing that we are pushing up against that's preventing us from feeling in the flow of the Seven of Wands, because when we're in the flow of the Seven of Wands, we feel really good and we are on top of things and we feel like we are quite competent. So what's actually creating that sense of feeling that we're up against it and having to prove ourselves? Here we have the Five of Swords, classic. So Five of Swords represents oppression. We've talked about Five of Swords before. In this case, we are looking outside of ourselves and judging ourselves based on what we think other people will either say to us. If we put ourselves out there, if we say something, do something that we'd like to pursue, or just be ourselves, then we are concerned that we are going to be not judged, but we are going to be oppressed. So someone's going to put us down. Someone is going to point something out that we feel is that we may feel as a weakness inside of us, and they're going to see it and they're going to oppress us with it. So that fight that we're having from the Seven of Wands is that we are refusing to move forward with our idea or how we are or how we want to be this week because we're worried about how we are going to be attacked. Classic, that's classic. So the number 3 position, next card, is what things look like on the surface. So, you know, this is pretty much like our solar plexus stuff, is how we like to think the world sees us and how we are seeing the world and acting in the world. And more often than not, this can be like a bit of a mask, but, you know, we need to have that mask to survive. Oh, I like this. We have the High Priestess, so she's in play. So we feel very intuitive and in tune. So it's very relevant that this feeling that we are going, if we stick our neck out, put ourselves out there. I was going to say, it feels like that, yes, we will get attacked, or yes, we will fall into that space where someone's going to oppress us. But what's the intuitive part of ourselves is very aware that this is the atmosphere at the moment. Having said that, and what the message I'm getting is that it might be the atmosphere at the moment, but it's not the atmosphere towards us. We are feeling an existential threat rather than a personal threat. And because the High Priestess is in play, our intuitive self, we are interpreting it as a personal threat rather than an existential threat. So it's creating a whirlwind and a false image of what's actually going on for ourselves. So we are predicting, we are intuiting or understanding the world is a little bit hostile at the moment. It's not necessarily hostile towards us, but we are interpreting it that way. So what's going on for us subconsciously? Well, here we have the Magician. So this is the subconscious, is what's driving us, but we don't really understand why that drive is there, or or why we feel compelled to put ourselves out there. Remember, we had the Seven of Wands saying, "Oh, I want to stick my neck out. I think I'm good at this." So the Magician, the unconscious part of ourselves, the drive that we don't really have the understanding of, is telling us that we are so ready to shift and to step into this. There are just a few things to consider before we take that first step. So if you think about it, we've got the Magician subconsciously prompting us to consider all of our options before we take that first step. It's not a card, it's not a warning card, it's saying you've got this, and just have a look at everything before you take that first step. And then we have all the other things on the surface saying, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to get out there, but I'm going to get attacked, or who's going to attack me, who's going to judge me, and all those sorts of things. So underlying, we are preparing ourselves to do that. And all the things that are happening on the surface are getting rid of that rubbish or the stuff that has in the past stopped us from taking that chance and moving forward. So in a way, all that unsettled feeling is actually a good thing. So now we're going to look at the number 5 card, which is the past influence. So what is it that's been influencing us up until now that we're leaving behind? Ace of Wands. It's that feeling that I've got this great idea, let's go. I've got this great idea, let's do it. I've got this really good idea, I want to go. But we have that first flush and then sort of nothing comes after it. So all of that prompting is leaving us behind, because the Magician is in play saying, okay, you know what you want to do, you've worked it out, what's the next step? So we can't keep, what's actually leaving us behind is that prompt going, yes, great idea, yes, great idea, yes, great idea. So we're going to leave the gunner, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that behind. That's got us here. And now we're working it out and taking that, building up that courage and esteem to take that next step. So this is the influence that's going to help us move forward. 6 of Swords, perfect. 6 of Swords represents structure. It is, but it's also, if you have a look at the 6 of Swords picture, it's very determined. I always think about the 6 of Swords is going, fine, I'll do it this way then, because we know in our hearts that this is the way forward. We can't make it any other way. And so it's about taking that next step, and there's really we can't go back anymore. We can't, and to stand still is quite, or to sit still in this one place is quite disruptive. And I'll show you the 7 of Wands card again, because there's all that disruption that's going on around us. And so the 6 of Swords gives us a structure. Okay, right, I'm going to work this out step by step by step. So that's the influence that's coming in. We are going to work out a structure to take away all of that existential threat, take away all that indecision and worrying about what people are going to say or who's going to come in and quash our dreams and so forth. Put it into some sort of a structure, and that way we're following a path, we're following a pattern, and our emotions and mind can all calm down, because it's not, I'm going to do it this way because I know it makes sense. Okay, so as a result of all of this, the next card shows us where we're going to land. And so we have here the Page of Pentacles. I love this. This is perfect. Page of Pentacles says that we are going to land in a place that allows us to create something fertile. Look at this, Page of Pentacles. So if you want to step out and be yourself, if you want to step out and try a new idea, if you want to just like whatever it is that your heart is urging you, or just like prompting you or compelling you to do, following these steps allows us to create a very firm foundation for prosperity. It still needs to be tended, because if you'll have a look, they're all new shoots and new growth, and the page is still very vulnerable. However, we're putting ourselves in a good position to make something grow and work for us. Okay, so the next position we're looking at is how other people are seeing us. So how we're behaving, how we are. So it'll probably explain that block about the 5 of Swords, about why we think other people are treating us in that particular way. It sort of ties in with that one actually. So this card here. So we have a lot of support, other people. So this is great. This is like the friendship support card, right? 4 of Wands. So there's lots of encouragement around us. We can see lots of encouragement. We can, so in other words, the 5 of Swords does not tie in or doesn't actually flow with that 4 of Wands card. So it's really our own selves that are criticizing or wanting to self-sabotage ourselves, because what we see is nothing but encouragement. So when we talk about our ideas, when we be ourselves, when we're out there, the things that we want to pursue and step into, we are getting nothing but encouragement. And so that can be sometimes a little bit confusing, especially if the inner is going, oh, what's going to happen to me? There's an existential threat out there, all those sorts of things. It does go against with how we feel. And of course, we're going to sort of feel stymied and stuck in one place. So get that structure worked out. So the next card we're going to have a look at is our hopes and fears. We have the 9 of Wands. So this is like the bigger picture, hopes and fears. We're thinking, okay, what is it that is like, it's almost like a karmic, what is my karmic lesson here? What's my karmic journey? And so the hopes and fears sit in that place like, I don't want to put my foot out there or step out and then get blocked, because that's what the 9 of Wands is showing us, getting blocked. So are we going to get blocked? Are we going to hit a brick wall? Well, this card suggests that we know that we are. We're building up. What happens is that we'll go so far, we'll hit sort of that block, and then we think, okay, how am I going to overcome this? And we hit the next block and how do I overcome this? If we are in a state of not moving forward and fear and all those sorts of things that self-sabotage and worrying about an existential threat, we will get to this point and we will just give up and not sort of hang in there waiting for that calm water again. So what's happening at the moment is that we are being sort of pushed in a direction to test it out. We've sort of come to the end of the road of worrying about whether it's going to work or not work. This card says it will work, and that when we get to that point of block, then we are going to find that if we stick with it, we'll move through. So our hope is that that's going to happen, and our fear is that we're going to just give up again. So knowing that is a lesson, and having the courage, especially of the magician, the subconscious self that says, ready to take that chance, then giving ourselves like leaning more into the hope part of it. Yeah, it'll work out. If I just sort of stay here and work it out and take it step by step by step, which is what the 6 of Swords asks us to do, then we will overcome and see that existential hope and fear of we're going to continue to give up is not actually a thing, and we'll overcome that. That will be the lesson. So what is the final outcome? 5 of Cups. So it's interesting that this is a grief card or a loss card, 5 of Cups. So expect that going through this process is going to release a lot of emotional grief and loss that's been sitting inside. So expect some really crappy feelings. Expect that there'll be some tears and so forth. It's very much a healing, cleansing, clearing of any emotional attachments to some sort of grief and loss from the past. It's not something that's going to make us crash and burn, as in we're not going to be able to recover from that. But what it's allowing us to do through this process is to face some of those things that we've been hanging on, old beliefs that we've been hanging on to such a long time, that these are the things that have been holding us back. We get a chance to heal it through this process. So however you want to apply this, the cards for this week, whether it's to a relationship, whether it's to a creative idea, whether it's to your finances or wanting to move house, or even your spiritual development, at the end of the day, the outcome will be a release of an emotional torment that's been hidden down, and we get a chance to actually release it and let it go. So that's the weekly forecast for week commencing October 14th, 2024. I hope you enjoyed that. Go and have a look at the Celtic Cross explainer in my other YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for joining me. I will see you next week for the next week's weekly forecast. Much love from me. Mwah. Bye for now.